Gentlemen, we all go to school, right? We all go to school, or at least have gone to school. And of course, when you go to school, you have lessons, right? You got all different kind of lessons and all different kind of themes that you can go to. You got maths, you got history, you got gym, right? And certainly you got your favorite topics. At least for my case, that was gym. I really loved activity. I really loved the outdoor life and everything. That was really cool. But certainly, the one thing that I absolutely hated the most was, at least when I was younger, I hated religion. And not necessarily because of the religion part, but also in the aspect of religion, we also got philosophy. So it was the philosophy's part that I really just disliked, right? I had this taste for it because it just seemed such an unnecessary topic to have, right? Because you got philosophers that are really old and just some who are really new. But when you have the topic of philosophy, it's just so boring, man. It's really boring. And the reason why I think it's so boring is just because you can't really relate to the topics that arises when these lessons come up, right? You can't really relate to it because philosophy is about asking hard questions and trying to find some are really occupied with finding out the truth to the world, right? But when you're just a naive 15-year-old, 10-year-old little kid and the only responsibility you have is to meet up at a soccer game, chess lessons, something like that, right? Then it's not really occupying your thoughts about having to think about really hard questions in philosophy. That's just simply the case. I think the underlying tone about why philosophy is so boring is just you don't really find it relatable. That's it, right? It's not really fascinating at all. There was this one time when I was about 18 to 19 years old. I was going to have a philosophy class, and little did I know that day's lesson was to be one of the most important lessons in all of school, in all of my life. The lesson was about ancient Greece, so you had the great thinkers of, at least in that class, we had the great thinkers of Socrates, we got Plato and Aristotle. The teacher that was teaching us, he was really cool, by the way. He was really cool. He had a YouTube channel. It's not active right now, but he was really cool. The best teacher that I ever had. And I think most of my classmates, they really think that too. He was really cool. And about Plato, we were having different kinds of topics, but the one that really stuck out to me was the allegory of the cave. The allegory of the cave is just symbolic in the terms of Plato's words about how you want to find the truth in the world and not believe everything you see at first sight, right? Because you can get fooled by the impressions that you get of the world. So the allegory of the cave, just look it up after this video. It's really recommended. It may be hard to understand the concept, but it's simply just finding about the truth. The modern depiction of it, you could say, is what they call the Matrix, right? You got the movie about the Matrix with Keanu Reeves, and if you've been on the internet about at least after 2020, you heard the Matrix about in other context, right? Yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about. Just escaping the Matrix, right? So it's basically that concept. To me, at that time, it just seems like voodoo magic, right? It's just so weird and so abstract and so absurd, right? Okay, what the hell, finding truth, right? What does that even mean? The class is over and you just think about the next topic, right? Fast forward 1 year later, I have graduated high school and I've headed off to the capital in my country because I'm going to study economics. I'm in the capital and everything's going to hell, right? Life is derailed and the great ambitions that I had about finding my place in society, it was just destroyed, right? My perfect ambitions, because I was studying economics, but I had zero interest in that. The setback was not really something that I've been used to, right? So I was very on the path of just succeeding. Uphill climbing just suddenly stopped and it went really downhill. That was really bad for me. I was at absolutely rock bottom. And it's kind of hard to me to say it, but I was at rock bottom. I consumed, like all day, I just consumed bullshit content, just watching short form content, just watching simple garbage on the internet, just plain entertainment. And I was deeply lonely in the capital. I had zero friends. Put it simply, I was really tempted, really tempted to just end it all. That's just, yeah, don't really need to sugarcoat it, really. So, yeah. One day, or at least one morning, I stumbled across one single video, and it was kind of this animation style. It was using these Bojack characters like Chad, that the blonde, like meme figures. It was using that as a format, and the video was about this like loser Bojack who's just broken up with his girlfriend, and he had really nothing to live for, working 9 to 5. It was really depicting the lifestyle that I had in the capital, right? Minus girlfriend, because I got zero bitches. I got zero contacts in the capital. So the meme was really about how you survive rock bottom and keep climbing up, and it was like this Chad figure who was just trying to explain to him develop and how to really get up in the ranks, right? How to climb the ladder. It's a very simple format, but at the time it was really revolutionary for me, right? Because all I've been doing is just circle around in the rock bottom where there's no light, and just seeing that simple cartoonish depiction of climbing up the ladders in life, it really made an impression. I will link the video down below, and it's made by 6 Cents. That video was kind of the start of my self-improvement journey. On a side note, I just want to say that 6 Cents, the person behind the channel, I don't really think that you're watching this kind of video or will ever watch my video, but from the bottom of my heart, thank you for making that video. If you didn't make that video and I didn't get it on my feed at the time, I'm afraid I might not have been here today to record this video. So thank you. It meant the world to me at that time. Thank you. It really inspired me to help men get out of the trenches and climb up in society. Later I got home from the capital and I applied for nursing, right? My family was really desperate that I needed to just get in university. One day I got a video from a man from Pakistan and later moved to UK. And that video, one from that guy called Hamza. For me, after watching that one video, it really sealed the deal for me. You can really say that I had awoken. I had been enlightened about other professions that you can do in your life. You don't have to follow this very rigid 9 to 5 structure. So when he came into the picture, it was really revolutionizing. It was really refreshing, and of course it's very viral now. With this new knowledge and new ambitions about my own life, going back to nursing was a really hard thing to do, right? Because I wasn't really invested in the start of it, and certainly not now when I've been introduced to this new wave of information and trends and self-improvement, right? So the culture about starting going to the gym and rejecting modernity, embracing masculinity, that was really the age of really break free from the shackles that are plaguing many young men today. I had to fulfill the wish of my parents, and the wish of my family was to get the bachelor's in nursing, and you can just do whatever, right? You got bachelor's, you got safety. That's the thing, right? But the 3 years of my bachelor in nursing, it was a really test of patience, a real struggle to fulfill that role. I don't necessarily think the school was hard. I think it was actually quite easy to get the bachelor's. It might sound very rude and disingenuous for the people who are really struggling to get the grade, but writing tasks was okay. Just you show up, you do what you're supposed to do, and you leave. And half of the study was 9 to 5, and that was really in the trenches for me. It was a really down period every time I got a new job that I had to stay and work for free, right? You don't get paid for this for this period. And in total is 6 periods, about 8 or 10 weeks each. So it will accumulate to half of the studies that you'll do in nursing. Working 9 to 5 in nursing was really hell. You have to just pretend that you're really invested. You have to lie about when they ask you, oh, how are you going to study? Where are you going to work when you're done, right? You just have to make up bullshit answers, and classmates just ask you about where do you want to go next, and everything like that, right? Just lying through my teeth. It just feels bad, right? But you can't really tell people while you're studying that, oh no, I think this line is just bullshit. I want to quit. But you do it anyways. I know it's not a good thing to lie, but it's not an easy position to be in, right? I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say. During the Renaissance, the Sixth Sense video and everything about philosophical terms, that's really the moment when the allegory of the cave hit in for me. Finding truth, finding the meaning of life. You can't really take the first impressions for granted, right? You have to question your own actions. Because of this personal development and hardship that I've gone through, I could say that philosophy is one of my favorite subjects right now, because philosophers' great thoughts are really relatable to me now, because I have matured and really gone through this development of my own. So it becomes much more interesting now, because I have different subjects that I can hang up these terms in. The Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard, the main point he was thinking about is the development of humans, right? So he categorized humans into 3 different stages. He called the first stage for the aesthetic human. The evolvement of that is the moral human or ethical human, and then the last one is the believing one. So in the aspect of religion, right? He was a religious person, and it was not really the involvement of religion I was really invested in, but it was about the first stage that really stuck with me, the aesthetic human. So in very short terms, I don't know if you're really watching anyways, but I'm going to explain it anyways. The aesthetic human was about this, you can call him Bojack, you can really call him that, or Jeffrey. So this human is the type of human who is naive, he is egotistical, and he does not embrace hardship, all about chasing short-term pleasures. If you had to choose between going to the gym and going out to party, like the modern example of that, you would hit the party every single time, right? Because going to the gym is hardship and it feels rough, and you really like the party, right? You really like that lifestyle, so you choose parties. In the terms of Kierkegaard, it is destructive, and the way it is destructive is because since you do not encounter any hardships and everything, right? These short-term pleasures, these are just escapes from the miserable life that this aesthetic human has. In the terms of Kierkegaard, he said that this is the one path to self-destruction. Either if it's conscious or not, you are destroying your life. Trying to evolve from that stage is the hardest choice that a human will ever make in terms of Kierkegaard's lessons. It's the stage from the aesthetic human over to the moral or ethical human. That's the hardest stage, because in this stage it is a boundary where you get an sort of enlightenment and walk past this barrier, and this barrier makes you conscious about your own decisions. You start to be more critical, and you want to work on different aspects of your life. In my case, it was this Sixth Sense video. That was my enlightenment. With this new knowledge, how do you act upon it? You got one of two choices. You could continue living this destructive habit with the enlightenment, or you can take action and do hardship and develop your own character. This was a really struggle and a very hard lesson for the human to accomplish. It also leads to destruction in some other ways, because when you are enlightened, you're never going to go back, right? You can't go back to the old lifestyle that you had, because now you are conscious about your destructive habits. When you are conscious, you're going to think about it all the time, and that was a really nail in the coffin for me with Hamza, because once I watched Hamza, I had to change my ways. I really had to do it. I could not live the same life that I have lived before. I couldn't really do it. It would not be responsible of me to do this. It really started to get into me, and it also led to depression, right? When I was doing nursing, I was not authentic to my own wishes. I had to pretend to be someone that I was not. That hurts. It leads to self-destruction. Kierkegaard was also about that. You have to live authentic to your own morals. You have to do it. I would say that depression is the embodiment of when your own morals and character gets conflicted by new lifestyle changes, because you have been receiving this new knowledge and you don't know how to react. You've been proven wrong. It's really hard to accept. I'm a failure, but I need to change. Self-improvement and the concept of self-improvement has really ruined my life, but that's a good thing. It's much better to have a mirror that's broken and you got these shards all over the floor, right? You have to pick it up. The beautiful mirror that you have is now shattered, and you have to try to glue it together. You're going to get scars, you're going to get bleedings, right? It's going to be a real pain in the ass trying to fix this mirror. It's much better to have hope about restoring the old beautiful image that you had, or maybe you construct something new, right? You construct a new masterpiece with the new shards of glass that you have. It's much better to have something to work with than nothing at all. The lesson of the story is that when you get new impulses to trying to fix your life, you feel like your whole truth, your whole identity is derailed. You've been proven wrong, and now you just can't go back to your past life. It is a sacrifice to basically replace your old self and to create a new image. Kierkegaard was right, and Plato is right. You're going to live in this empty, hollow world if you just do your first impressions, you just do everything at an impulse and just believe everything you see at first sight. It's going to lead to your own destruction. Think long term and consolidate a good life for yourself. But that is not given, it is earned. You have to work for it, and that's the hard thing. Facing hardship on your own can be very stressful. It can be very hard, and I know that for myself, that I've had good people around me, and my girl is, well, she's on the other side of the wall. She's been life-saving for me during these hardships in nursing. She's been really life-saving. I know it can be really hard to face these troubles alone. It's on the process, but I have to just find out how to do it. I'm going to make a Discord group and trying to cultivate my audience over there. I will sort out how I want to do it, either it's in topics or just one big group chat that you can just join and, well, talk to me, interact with me, ask about suggestions about other topics, and I will try to cover it from there. Stay strong and we'll go. I believe in you, bro.